Here you are.
I'm very sorry for that, but yes, if you move around between teams and all those media channels today, you have to juggle a little bit with which microphone to use, which camera.
So many platforms, right? But Dieter, good to see you. You are with Asahi Photo Products, and my colleagues had the fantastic pleasure of seeing some of your products in action in Hamburg. Was it last week or the week before? The week before. So great to have you here.
Yes, thank you very much, Morten. Thank you for having me.
One of the things that I realized when I was looking through all the Drupa pages is that you come, of course, from a Japanese background company with a strong focus on chemicals and things like that, and then you made a machine that basically clean the water from and clean the waste from these things, and that was one of the things that was a little bit of a surprise to me. But maybe you can just bring me up to speed a little bit about what is it that Asahi do, and what is your claim to fame at PreDrupa?
Okay, so of course, if I have time, I will explain you. Asahi Kasei, of course, maybe it's a big chemical company, almost 50,000 people. We are a smaller division, Asahi Photo Products, and we focus to sell photopolymer printing plates, and used to start already 50 years ago with selling photopolymer resin. So liquid resin, mainly for the corrugated industry. Since then, we have always tried to supply something without solvents. So at the time, 50 years ago, it was already water wash. Of course, mass market then required us also to jump onto that wagon to also supply solvent wash materials. But now more and more you can see back the trend of sustainability, and we are completely focusing now on the supply of plate material, which is washed by water, in fact.
And as you mentioned, the solvent base is basically also because you have this strategy, as you wrote to me yesterday, that's zero solvent. Is it difficult to? I mean, one thing is you as a manufacturer, you can invent, let's say, new technologies that can replace solvent, for example. But is it difficult to convince the customers about it?
Difficult, of course. If you start with a new technology, you are not always starting with the lowest possible price. Companies really have to pay a premium, and they think you really want to go into that direction. But I can say now that we started 10 years ago with that new philosophy. It's not one product; it's really the philosophy. And actually now it is a mass market product. So also that is now much more affordable for any one company to go in that direction. But let me elaborate a little bit, not on the one product, but on the philosophy. It is not, as I mentioned, it's not one particular product we are providing to the market. It is a solution because if you have ever visited a plate making company, you probably have seen that you can smell just by walking past the company a strange smell. So most of the time you can actually smell from outside that this company is producing flexo plates. And we said to ourselves, we don't need to have that now because actually there are so many opportunities and solutions now, alternative solutions in the market. By the way, not only from our side, also from our competitor side, to go away from solvent washable plate material, that there's actually practically no need anymore to stop the transition to alternative plate making solutions. So the plate is of course, one component, but it's a philosophy. So it comes together with machinery. So your colleague actually went to Hamburg. we had some filming there at a customer of ours to see the complete automated solution. But we don't stop there. We also look for taking care of the wastewater, because this is one of the claim we had a lot of time before, that at the end of the day you are polluting water. But practically now with this wastewater recycling unit, we can keep the wastewater we use in the washout process almost in the closed loop. And so I think it's getting closer and closer to being closed loop. Anyway, that is our ambition. So we are trying really hard to change something towards that goal, to be one day in the closed loop and have more and more sustainable products.
When you set a course like that, I guess that is not just something for Asahi photo product. That is something where your entire organization can benefit from that development, right?
Excellent. Exactly. So 2 years ago, together with the Carbon Trust in the UK, we set out a program that was to make our water wash plate certified carbon neutral. And if you go in that direction, so actually the way it works is that you make a life cycle analysis from cradle to grave, we did at that time, and you basically offset your carbon impact with purchasing carbon credits. So that, of course, everybody can do. But as you mentioned, to get the transition also inside our company from R&D, this was really triggering mindsets of the people in R&D to think, okay, for next year we need to reduce by X amount. So how can we practically do that? So that process, I think, this is one of the important outcome of this certification, that R&D really needs to think hard now. How can we actually achieve a reduction of CO2 footprint? So yes, so that I think is really great internally as well.
I can tell you a funny story that is not exactly in what you talk about, but a little bit. I met a very interesting guy from Sri Lanka that wanted to make an environmental program for his company, a huge printing company. And they were still using developers that included silver. So he said to his bosses that every time we clean the water, we can get X amount of silver out of it. And that was what caused them to go into actually making clean water solutions, because they thought they could win a lot of money by taking out the silver of it. And I guess that it is, when you do things like this, the silver or the gold is, of course, that the increasing demand in the market is to become more sustainable and to have solutions that you can basically monetize from having a greener future, right?
Yes, exactly. And you just mentioned with your example in Sri Lanka. So I remember those days with silver halide films, and actually at that time bromide was also used. Already at that time we found an alternative by UVC detacking instead of bromide. But the world is really developing with different pace. So that is what we can see in different regions of the world. But for the same very reason, so for the silver to get some money, I think this is probably also one of the reasons why we can see in other areas that people really jump on that wagon for sustainability. Because at the end of the day, it's not only that the products have less impact, but at the end of the day, impact means normally energy. So you are saving energy, and energy is relating to cost. So most of the time, this is really a nice cost-saving effort what you are doing for promoting sustainability.
But does that also mean that when you make that clean water system, that you of course have to have a strong focus on having that as low energy as possible?
Of course, that is the focus. So we avoid distillation. In theory, we could reach 100% recycling rate of the water if we would distill the water. But that would cost an awful lot of energy if we would run a distillation for distillating water. So that's why we are using a filtration, which is much less energy in the running cost, of course, in the energy. Basically that is the reason. And not only that, so water wash is really our ultimate goal. We have, so if you see the market of flexo plate making, probably at least now 70% in our market, the companies are developing and processing the plates by solvents. If you so we already have an offering of for that market. So we use and we introduced just very recently a plate which is solvent wash for the 70% installed bases worldwide. But that plate is only using 70% of the solvent. So you can produce it with much less solvent compared to the past. So actually, message is it's our philosophy. We call it Road to Solvent Zero. So that still includes solvent, but we are driving the market in this direction step by step to go to a ideally solventless plate making society. And of course, the ultimate goal would then be, of course, a water wash technology.
Fantastic, and all these things can be. You can see that at Drupa, and you can come and talk to your specialist and learn much more about it, I guess, right?
Yes, of course. I by myself will be all 10 days on Drupa there, and I'm really looking forward.
Dieter, what about the 11th day? You will not be there at the 11th day?
There's 11 days for relaxing. I will have an Asahi beer and just don't care anymore, to be honest. No. Yes, no, but yes. Actually, I'm quite looking forward. So many people, they always say to me, Drupa, really heavy work, and when do you go, first week or second week? And I say, no, I'm going all the time. So I'm all in. And actually, I can already feel adrenaline is rising. 8 years since the last Drupa, and actually I can't wait that it starts. So
fantastic!
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
I look forward to meet you at Drupa, and thank you very much for your time here in our PreDrupa. And remember, we have one again on April 23rd, in case you have more good things to tell about.